Litbit channel. இன்னைக்கு நம்ம பார்க்க போகிறது Tonight I Can Write the Saddest Lines by Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda original name is Neftali Ricardo Reyes Besileto. He was born in 1904, dead in 1973. He is a Chilean poet, diplomat and politician who was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1971. He was perhaps the most important Latin American poet of the 20th century. Tonight I Can Write Saddest Line theme is personal memory can cause one serious pain and sorrow, tone sad, melancholic, loustic and bitter. The first line is repetition of title phrase Tonight I Can Write the Saddest Line, which repeats 3 times throughout, creating a cadence and circular movement of the poem, almost like a beating drum. This suggests the way the poet is coming back to the same thoughts of his lost love again and again. Let's we see the poem line by line. Tonight I can write the saddest line. Write, for example, the night is shorter and the blue stars shiver in the distance. In the blue stars refers the color blue is traditionally associated with glooms and depressions in Western literature. The lines evoke a sense of nostalgia with the poet reminiscing of his lover and wondering about the genuineness of their love. This might also be desperate effort to distance himself and find comfort from the painful memories. In this poem, Tonight I Can Write the Saddest Line, he suggests that he could not previously. We later learn that this overwhelming sorrow over a lost lovers has prevented him from writing about the relationship and its demise. The speaker constructs juxtapositions of past and present, illustrate his inability to come to terms with his present isolated states. Neruda's language here, as in the rest of the poem, is simple and to point, suggesting the sincerity of the speaker's emotion. The sense of distance is again interested in the second and the third lines as he notes the stars shivering in the distance. These lines also contain images of nature, which will become a central link to these memories and to the present state. The speaker contemplates the natural world, focusing on those aspects of it that remind him of his lost love, and the cosmic nature of their relationship. He begins writing at night, at times when darkness will match his mood. The night sky filled with stars offers him no comfort since they are blue and shiver. Their distance from him reinforcement the fact that he is alone. However, he can appreciate the night wind that sings as his verse will, describing the woman he loved. Next, fifth line. Tonight I can write the saddest line. I loved her and sometimes she loved me too. Through nights like the one, I heard her in my arms. I kissed her again and again under the endless sky. She loved me. Sometimes I loved her too. He could one not have loved her great still eyes. Neruda repeats the first line in the fifth and follows it with the declaration of speaker's love for the unnamed woman. The staggered repetition Neruda employ throughout the poem provokes thematic unity. The speaker introduces the first detail of the relationship and point to the possible reason for his demise when he admits, sometimes he loved me too. He then remains about being with her in night like this one. The juxtaposition of the night from the past with the night reveals the change that has taken place, reinforcing his sense of loneliness. In this section, Neruda links the speaker's lover with nature, a technique he will use throughout the poem to describe the sensual nature of the relationship. In the eighth line, the speakers reminded kissing his love again and again under the endless sky, a sky as endless as he has hoped their relationship would be. An ironical reversal of lines 6 occurs in line 9 when the speaker states, "She loved me, sometimes I loved her too." The speakers may be offering a cynical statement of the fickle nature of love at this point. However, the equivalent bittersweet lines that follow suggest that in these lines he is trying to distance himself from the memory of love for her and so is his suffering. Immediately in this next line, he contradicts himself when he admits, "How can one not have loved her great still eyes?" The poem contradiction created tensions that reflects the speaker's desperate attempts to forget the past. So next four line, tonight I can write the saddest line, to think that I do not have her, to feel that I have lost her, to hear the immense night, still more immense without her, and the verse falls to soul like dew to the posture. In line 11, Neruda again repeats his opening lines, which becomes a plaintive refrain. The repetitions of that lines shows how the speaker is struggling to maintain distance to convince himself that enough time passed for him to have the strength to think about his last love. But these lines are the saddest. He cannot yet escape the pain of remembering. It becomes almost unbearable to think that I do not have here, to feel that I have lost here. His loneliness is reinforced by the immense night, still more immense without here. Yet the poetry that he creates helps rebellish his source like dew to the posture. Next lines are, "What does it matter that my love could not keep her? The night is shattered and she is not with me. That is all. In the distance someone is singing. In the distance my soul is not satisfied that it has lost her." In line 15, the speaker refused to analyze the relationship. What is important to him is that the night is starry and she is not with me as she used to be on similar starry nights. This is all that is now central to him. When the speaker hears someone singing in the distance and repeats in the distance, he reinforces the fact that he is alone. No one is singing to him. As a result, he admits, "My soul is not satisfied." 19th line, "My sight searches for her, as through to go to her. My heart looks for her, and she is not with me. She saw night whitening the same tree. We of that time are no longer the same. I no longer love her, that's certain, but how I loved her. My voice tried to find the wind to touch her hearing. Another's she is will be another's. Like my kisses before, her voice, her bright body, her infinite eyes." In 19th lines, the speaker expresses his longing to reunite with his love. His sight and his heart try to find her, but he notes she is not with me. He again remembered that this night is so similar to the ones they shattered together. Yet he understands that they are no longer the same. He declares that he no longer loves her, that certain, in an effort to reveal his pain, and admits he loved her greatly in the past. Again, linking the relationship to nature, he explains that he had tried to find the wind to touch her hearing, but failed. Now he must face the fact that she will be another's. He remembers her bright body that he knows will be touched by another, and her infinite eyes that will look upon a new lover. 27th line. I no longer love her, that's certain, but maybe I love her. Love is so short, forgetting is so long. Because through a night like this one, I held her in my arms. My soul is not satisfied that it has lost her. Through this be the last pain that she makes me suffer, and these the vast words that I write for her. In 27th line, the speaker reiterates, I no longer love her, that's certain, but immediately contradicts himself, uncovering his effort as self-defections when he admits, but maybe I love her with the world's varied tones of resignation. He concludes, love is so short, forgetting so long. His poems becomes a painful exercise in forgetting. In the 29th line, he explains that because this night is so similar to the nights in his memory when he held her in the arms, he cannot forget. This he repeats, my soul is not satisfied. In the final two lines are, however, the speaker is determined to erase the memory of her, and so is his pain, insisting that his verse will be the last verse that I write for her. Let's we see the literary terms of the poem. Central idea of the poem. The idea of the poem is shows the speakers of the poem's sadness and regards of losing the women he loved, and he succeeded in doing so by using concise language. Tone. The tone of the poem is sad, melancholic, love struck, and bitter. Theme. The main theme of Tonight I Can Write the Saddest Line is that one's memory can cause extreme pain, and the memories of lost love are extremely painful. Speakers are narrator and point of view. First person speakers struggling to express himself following a lover's rejections or abandonment. Form and meter, free verse in the series of 1 and 2 lines stanza. Metaphors and similes are, the simile, the verse falls to the source like dew to the washer, portraying the speaker's soul as a postures and his poetry as the dew that lands on it. Alliteration and assonance, several phrases including shiver in the distance, still more immense without her, and this is all in the distance someone is singing. Use an assonance, short I sounds. The later of these also use alternative yes sounds, which also appears in the line, my soul is not satisfied that it has lost her. Irony of the poem, the speaker claims that he can write the saddest lines is ironic, since his subsequent lines are emotionally understand and healing. In general, the poem expresses the broader situational irony. Strong emotions can be barrier rather than a aid to self-expression. Genre lyrical poetry, setting a desolate area on the windy, starry night. Tone lamenting, nostalgic, bewildered. Protagonist and antagonist. The protagonist is a speaker, while the antagonist is the lover who has caused him heartbreak. Major conflict of the poem. The poem major conflict is the speaker to understand and express his own feeling. The lover's abandonment is not a major conflict, since it is completed a sense the speaker has no hope of regarding her love. Instead, now arise he comprehends what has happened, make a sense of situation, and put his emotion into language. Climax of the poem. The poem is final lines in which the speaker definitely asserts that he will no longer feel pain or write verse because the lover. Foreshadowing. The speaker's assurance that he cannot write saddest lines hint at the not yet revealed heartache. Understatement. The speaker's tone as he offer an example of the saddest line is tonically understated, deliberately delivering a lines less dramatic than readers have been led to expect. Allusions. The speaker used the words my soul to refer to himself through Sinaka in the lines, my soul is not satisfied that it has lost her. Personification. Nature is personified in the lines, the night wind revolves in the sky and sings. Hyperbole. The speaker's repeated premises that he can write he the saddest line is a hyperbolic.
இந்த வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருந்தா மறக்காமல் லைக் பண்ணுங்கள், ஷேர் பண்ணுங்கள், கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்கள், சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணி கூட இருக்க பெல் ஐக்கானையும் ப்ரெஸ் பண்ணுங்கள். தேங்க்யூ ஃபார் வாட்சிங்.